This is exactly what we're addressing today.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hello, and welcome back to another edition of our Talk It Out sessions presented by V.E.R.B. We are your hosts, Aaron Tate, Adrian Poe, Jasmine Patterson behind camera saying hello to our future selves. If you've caught our other videos, then you know what we like to do is we like to take a specific topic, particularly one that is controversial, and we like to discuss it. We come up with different talking points to bring up throughout the discussion, but we also like to get involved with you guys as well. So for those of you tuning in, please feel free to comment and ask any questions you think might contribute to the conversation. With that being said, today's lovely topic is your body, your choice, your consequence. Would you like to discuss how we came to?
Yes. So, as always, on our daily journey of dealing with humans, since unfortunately we happen to be in the world of
Earthlings,
humans, we've ran across at least 5 particular situations where we concluded that the individuals we're talking to must be in what we call a world of delusion. And the reason being is because they've either made claims or painted scenarios or come to conclusions that don't actually fit into the description of the logical world that we live in. And then that begs to question a bigger movement, especially from the female gender. Men also make the statements too that, well, it's my body, I should be able to do with it what I want. And I want us to take time today to unpack that in its totality, because I don't think we fully understand the consequences that come behind choices. So true enough, the choices does belong to you, but we really need to get into the details to see how that pans out on a larger scale.
Absolutely. So where would you like to start, sir?
Take it from the top. What was the first question I sent?
Well, I think first we should define what choice means. The word choice.
Perfect.
Means. Jasmine.
I said nothing. Go ahead. Your definition, man. I'm ready for the choice definition.
You really gonna be like that on this?
Like the whole live?
No.
Okay. Just the start of
But
it.
you're providing a definition, so let's hear it.
But I want to know what your idea of choice is.
A choice. Having several options and choosing the one that best suits or fits your needs.
Okay. Adrian.
I surprisingly agree with her definition.
Yeah, it's oddly close to Google's definition. An act of selecting or making a decision when faced with 2 or more possibilities. So you might know a little something, Ninja.
Okay, she also might have Googled it because the phone is in her hand.
Really didn't actually.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking the question.
I am smarter.
Okay.
I like to think that I am.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
So let's get to it.
What's you really gonna be like this whole live?
No, I mean like nothing. Don't put the focus on me.
So the first question that you asked was: does there need to be a line drawn, or is there a need to draw a line on which choices made someone has the right to speak on, and an aim for adjustment and or correction?
So to shorten that, what I was saying is, since we understand what a choice is, do we feel like as a collective, whether it be on a social scale or just an individual scale, do we feel like individuals need to have particular lines drawn where their choices need to be more centered or focused before making them? Because a lot of females and also men do it too, depending on the situation, make statements such as, well, it's my body, I should be able to do with it what I want, or it's my car, I should be able to do with it what I want, or it's my house. Anything that people feel as though that they have rights on, I've heard them marginalize the statement, it's mine, so why do you care what I do with it? And that's why I feel like the question is valid. Do we feel like there should be lines drawn somewhere with those statements?
Well, first let me ask, are people free to choose whatever they want to do or to make any choice that they want to make?
Definitely.
Yes.
Should people choose to do whatever they want to do?
Definitely.
People should choose to do whatever they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why do you say that?
I'm glad you asked. And this is where we get into the splitting hairs that I've not heard anyone really particularly diagnose or dissect, rather. People are free to do whatever you want to do, right? And just basing it on my biblical foundation, the Bible speaks about all things are permissible, but not all things are favorable, basically, which means anything is possible. You can do whatever you want to do. But the part that no one has held down is in the event that you activate this particular thing, there are a specific amount of consequences that follows. And I reference back to a guy that I listened to, Jordan Peterson. He stated, what people have to realize is we like to make the claim of anything is possible or you can do what you want to do, and that's fine. But we can't act like all decisions lead to favorable outcomes. So you have 100 different decisions, but only 50 of them produce something positive. The other 50 are negative. And that's the part that a lot of people don't want to face. You're right. There's 100 different decisions that can be made by everyone in this room, but all of them are not productive, right? For us to be sitting here having a conversation, very productive. If I decide to grab this young lady and start to molest and or rape her, that's not productive. Because I'm pretty sure your male instinct is going to kick in, hold me down. You're going to either have to report it or fight me. It's going to turn into a whole thing, right? So anybody can do whatever they want to do. What we need to face is once you activate that particular decision, there are only a few consequences that's going to follow. And that's where we go from people are different and can do what they want to we really all the same. Because if I grab Jazz, the same thing is going to happen. If you grab Jazz, same thing is going to happen. If he grabs Jazz, no matter who grabs Jazz and start to attack her, I'm almost 100% certain that the other men in the room is going to stop that other male. True or untrue?
True.
That's all I'm saying. We need to spend more time focused on the consequences that follow behind such decisions and not the fact that I can do what I want to do. Duh! We know that.
Jess, how do you feel?
I agree with what you're saying, and I understand. I agree because with the simple fact, like you said, if a decision or you make that decision, or if there is a choice, in that you make the choice. If it has, like you said, following, some consequences after that, just be aware and be ready to face those consequences and know how to maneuver or adjust and move forward from there. So I agree with what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, me personally, so the question of are people free to choose to do whatever they want? Absolutely. Should people choose to do what they want? No. Mm-hmm. And that goes to the question of, is there a need to draw a line? Mm-hmm. I think at that point, there has to be a line drawn depending on what your goal or your aim is. Mm-hmm. So if your aim is to live a fruitful and productive life, then there are certain choices that you need to stay away from or deter yourself from making, mm-hmm. right? If you want to lead a life of chaos and destruction, do what you want to do.
Let's run it.
Take it all the way.
The problem, though, is people who project to want the life of productivity, they make the choices that lead to chaos, and then they're mad when you say, hey, I know you think that choice leads to productivity because you're hiding it under the guise of I'm free to choose. That part is correct. But where you veer off at is when you make that decision, you fall into the chaotic side, and now you are not the same as the productive side. And people don't want to admit that. Mm-hmm. You want to feel free to make the choice to project productivity, but then not be held to the standards of chaos. Are you God?
So give an example for people who might not fully understand.
Cool. And I always take it to the farthest extreme because I like to paint the most vivid picture for people. Like, okay, All right. My body, my choice, right? Women. Cool. Woman says it's my body, my choice. We're chanting, yeah, you're right, you're right, you're right. Say that woman decides to manipulate a 7-year-old to have sex with her. Let's not act like don't look. Hold on.
No.
Hold it. Hold
You gonna let
it.
son finish?
Hold on. Hold it.
Y'all reacting off of ways.
Your face.
Don't look at me.
You have a face. Hold on. Number one, we can Google right now that what I just said is taking place. So let's not act like this is strange or I pulled this out of my car.
Mm-hmm.
These things take place all the time.
Antoine Fisher.
True or untrue? All right. Now, in the event that this 35-year-old woman has manipulated and made this 7-year-old boy have sex with her, it's her body, her choice, right? But what was that thing that took place when I said that? Everybody watching, did you feel what happened when I said that? Was something in you that was like, whoa. But what happened to the my body, my choice? It's still a body. It was still her choice. Now, we can all collectively agree that there should be some type of punishment that follows for such decisions. True or untrue?
True.
Which goes back to, where do we draw the line? That's the example. I know it's a bit extreme, but it's her body. She chooses to do with it what she wants. Where do we draw the line then? Because you can Google what I just said. It has happened within the last 24 to 48 hours. I'm more than positive. Where we draw the line? I have a... No. Go ahead. Go.
Please.
No. By all means.
Let's take it a step further and target a little closer to home, right? We all just experienced that Roe v. Wade was overturned, right? So the whole my body, my choice was birthed in response to the government trying to control whether or not abortions are, or whether or not women have access to abortions should they not want a child. Correct. The only women in the room.
Correct.
Gotcha. All right. So you're of the belief that if you were to have a child, or if you were to have sex, and as a result of sex, you were to conceive a child, and if you decide that you do not want and or are not ready to have said child, that you should be free to get an abortion, correct? Mm-hmm. And that's where the whole my body, my choice. If I decide I'm not ready to have a child, I should be willing to abort this child, right? So when Roe v. Wade was overturned, did that then take away the idea or aspect of my body, my choice? Because you no longer have the option to get an abortion if you have a child or if you conceive? Right, what? It did take away your body, your choice?
Well, yeah, it took away the choice.
The choice to not lay down and have sex with someone unprotected? Or not exercise any of the preventative measures that are set in place for us to not have a children?
They took away the choice.
What choice?
Once she made the choice to lay down without, protection, if she ended up getting pregnant, then this particular rule wouldn't apply to her because she wouldn't be able to get said abortion, or if she wanted to get it or not.
They didn't take away the choice.
They did.
They took away a way out of the consequences from the choice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They didn't take away the choice, because the decision for them to say, hey, no more abortions, that means they done away with the places you can get abortions. They didn't put a chip in you that would prohibit you from opening your legs still, because your legs still open, right? So they didn't take away no choice. They took away the cop-outs from making a bad choice.
And I think one thing people don't consider is the choice doesn't start when you decide you don't want to have this child. The choice starts when you lay down to have sex.
The choice starts when you took off your shirt, and then bra, and then pants, and then socks, and then panties, and then lay down, and then got wet, and then let him stroke a couple times.
And then
that was so many times.
like your choice.
You had
started a
so
long
many
time
choices.
ago.
So Roe v. Wade didn't take away your choice. It took away some accountability from making a bad choice. But let me flip it. What if prisoners who are on death row for pedophilia and murder petitioned, and then they took away the jail? How would we feel about that? Now that means they can do whatever they want to do,
and there are no
consequences for their actions. Would we like that? What if we took away the Better Business Bureaus? We wouldn't like none of these establishments, because that means they can talk to us however they want to talk to us and get away with it. There's no one to hold them accountable. There will be no consequences. So we can collectively agree that we would not like to live in a world where there's no consequences, but yet the delusion that a lot of females and guys live in is, hey, I know that this doesn't apply to anything else in the world, nor would it be productive to make it applicable to anything else in the world, but for this particular item, could it apply to us? And that is delusion at best. So I want to answer my own question. Where do we draw the line between my choice and having to deal with the consequences of that choice? I'm going to prematurely define the line as, if your choice has a fallout that don't only affect you, there needs to be lines drawn. Now, if your decisions only affect you,
have at it.
Run it.
Have at it.
You can snort a line long as this table. Mm-hmm. As long as you are the only one in the house and you don't run the risk of trying to bite somebody's ear off. So if you want to do a line of crack, do it. But clear the house before you do it. Mm-hmm. Because that makes you responsible, right? So therefore, if you eat somebody's ear off, it's going to be your own. But if you know that there's a baby in this house, your spouse or family members in this house, you know that if you do a line, you're going to be under the influence of some unsurmountable drug, and you run the risk of possibly causing harm to yourself or someone else, there must be a line drawn. Don't do crack while family members is in the house. Now, I'm not condoning crack. Once again, I'm painting a very vivid picture so you can understand this is not a game. Mm-hmm. The line is drawn when your decisions have an effect on someone else besides you. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's a pretty good way to draw the line. And we can apply that to even the abortion. Is the decision to have an abortion only affecting you? You out of order. Is the decision to molest or rape an underage child only affecting the individual? Is murder only affecting the individual? You see how the applicable definition that I've projected is pretty much valid across the board. Now, I'm prematurely speaking because I haven't ran all the scenarios, but I can't think of a particular time that we can apply the definition to that wouldn't make sense. Now, anything such as, makeup, hair, that's you, right? That ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. If it's not affecting anyone else, run it. No one has a problem with it. But the problem that I have is the delusion that we try to project that I should be able to do this and no one should say anything about it. But the fact that no one is also affected by it, that's delusion at best. So that's my definition. That's where we draw the line collectively as a society, on the individual level, on the state level, and the world. And I feel like that alone will completely change the dynamic of how we operate as a culture. But I could be wrong, though. What the freak do I know?
I agree with that. I like the fact that you were able to depict when the line or drawing of the line would be crossed. And I agree with that. Like if it affects somebody else, then we gotta hold some boundaries.
I mean, what type of human are we dealing with, though? Like, if we're really dealing with a human that doesn't mind making decisions that cause someone else a detriment, not only to themselves, but someone else, what you got going? I mean, is that what we wake up to do, though? Like, who can openly admit that you wake up to cause hell, as boosters say, right? Touchdown to cause hell is what y'all say, right? Who does that for real, though? And if that's what you do, let's run it. But, like, you got friends and family? Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody checking you? Like, people realize want you around them causing. That's what we do. Who does that? But that's what y'all want to feed us, though. You want us to believe the delusion of, I should be able to do what I want. when does that actually work though? Like, where does that actually apply? Because that's not applicable to nothing. But now you want us to apply it.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
So what's the damage of not having lines drawn on either side? I think we pretty much covered that. What's the benefits of having lines or drawing lines?
So hold on. Swan says, same goes for the decisions parents make for their children. When parents advertise their children in a post that is alarming, people comment with their opinions. Example, clothes may be too tight or revealing. The comments are saying, no, that's too much. The parents and other commenters tell you to mind your business. That's their child. Then when something happens to the child, rape, traffic, or etc., more comments come in saying how unfit the parent is and etc. It's contradicting. It's pick and choose when people should speak up, but by the time it's okay to speak up, it's too late. Totally, I couldn't agree more. And like the hypocrisy in the collective decisions on one end, but then you want to filter them to fit this one particular item. Like women, like they should be isolated. But whenever a man decides I don't want to be in this child's life, he's a deadbeat. But when a woman actually kills a child, she's a well thought out mother. She knew the weight behind her decision would be so great she didn't want to put the child in a, like, how did you become a hero? And I'm not targeting women because the logic and perspective and definition that I'm projecting applies to men as well. A man walking out of a child's life or deciding to not be in a child's life that he birthed is the same as a woman killing the child. The only difference is that man has a chance to mature past his current decision to not be in that child's life to come back and revive that. Unless your child is Jesus, he not coming back. With all due respect, I just had to take. I'm like, with my girl, I had to take it there. What kind? Fantasia. I had to, cause I don't think we really be understanding what people saying. Like, we really got to draw these pictures like that. So, what do you think the benefits of having lines drawn?
I think the benefits of having lines drawn would help people to always be mindful of consequences. And I think anytime anyone hears the idea or the word consequence, they immediately attach a negative connotation to it or assume that it has a negative connotation. But consequence simply, like, if you break it down, con means with, sequence means like 1, 2, 3, step by step, right? So with sequence. So the idea of a consequence just means if you do this, this will follow this is what will follow as a result, step by step. So it can be good, it could be a positive result, or it can be a negative result depending on what the action is. So I think as long as people take the time, or I think drawing lines will allow people to first think before they act and or say something, because then they are able to decide, okay, if I do this is going to happen. Do I really want this to happen? But I really want to do this, but does my desire to do this outweigh my my distaste for what the result is going to be? You know what? I'm straight. No matter how good no matter how strong my desire is, I really don't want to deal with the fallout of this. I'm good. I'm straight. And I think that's what the benefits of drawing lines is going to be. People are going to always at any point be conscious of what any consequence will be for what any action they take is. So,
and that goes to another saying that I heard, that if you aim for nothing, you will hit it every time. Or if you want to get somewhere in life, as long as you know where you are going, it'll help you know which roads that are not helpful. And that's the thing I really want us to hone in on. It's once a particular decision is made, you have to understand that there's only negative that follows those decisions. There's not a platform for positives to follow chaotic actions. That's just not how this works. This is not negative, equal positive, equal negative. This is not math like that. Like, you can't use that type of thinking when it applies to living. Like, we're humans. So you have to understand that a negative and a negative is a negative. A positive and a positive is a positive. These are not electrons. That's just not how this works. And the delusion is us believing that we can continue to promote negativity and expect positives to follow. And an example I would use is a lot of the rap music today is talking about shooting, killing, unprotected sex, sex before marriage, having babies, getting money, calling women out their name. What do you expect to come behind listening to that? What else is in there? Like, give me one thing that can be positive from listening to someone tell you about how they knocked up down last night from the back. Mm-hmm. I'll wait. Or how their girlfriend got a girlfriend and their wife is the mistress. Mm-hmm. I need one positive. Like, I literally need one productive positive that comes from talking about having a gun on the dresser and the line on the stove. Mm-hmm. I need just one. And they say, oh, I just like the beat. But you hear the words, though.
Bro, there's a Biggie Small or Notorious B.I.G. song called "A Story to Tell." I don't know if you ever heard it, but literally the entire song is him telling a story about how he was knocking a girl down whose boyfriend plays for the New York Knicks. Like, that's literally the entire song.
That's the plot.
Just describing the events from how I met this girl, went back to a place, I'm beating her down, then the boyfriend, who happens to be an NBA player, comes in, and I had to threaten him with my gun to let me leave or whatever, like, because he was trying to get, like, that's the entire song.
Listen, I used to love Lil Wayne, and I still do, depending on what he's saying. Mm-hmm. He has a song, him and Kendrick Lamar, and I think 2 Chainz got a song called Mona Lisa. When I tell you, this song is a perfect depiction of him specifically assigning a girl to go to the club to woo a man that has money, follows him back to the home, sucks his till he goes to sleep, sends them a text message for them to come rob him. She wakes up and act like she's screaming. He says, hey, you can stop acting now. She moves to their side. Old dude is in shock. They beat him up, take all his stuff, and leave. I was just like, now, first of all, I give credit to Lil Wayne. He is a lyrical genius. So I appreciate his ability to articulate such a story in rhyming words. Love it. However,
gotta draw a line somewhere.
There must be lines drawn.
Gotta draw the line.
I'm talking Mona Lisa. Like, he's promoting the female to basically smile and look pretty so that he can acquire the financial compensation that comes from the value of her smiling in his face, but then stabbing him in the back. Mm-hmm. And then people be like, they ain't nothing but some backstabbers out here. That's all the music you listen to. You don't have other options.
I heard you listening to the song.
I heard you listening to the ratchetness of you smash your homeboy's wife. What type of friends you thought you was gonna attract? Oh man, the beat will fire. I bet it will. Cause you lived that. Then you mad when somebody kick your dough in. What you doing? You told the world that you smashed this man's wife. Mm-hmm. Or like people be posting videos on their story, them smoking weed. We live in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. Then on Facebook, oh y'all snitching.
I only know because you posted it.
I saw the blunt. The blunt was dead long. I couldn't even see the end there. I only saw the part. I ain't even see the part that was lit.
It was cut off, son.
Oh, these niggas out here snitching.
Come on, son.
It's delusion. Mm-hmm. Your actions have consequences. You are free to do what you want, but you don't get to control the fallout. That is all we're saying. And this ain't just a woman thing. It's a man thing. Anybody. Your action has consequences. And if you are okay with the consequences, run it. And then get mad when people like us set boundaries. Hey, I realize that you be doing these things, and if something going on in your life, it don't never work out right, I'm really cool on that. No, we can't hang out. I'll talk to you for about 2 or 3 minutes, but I'm scared whatever you got going on gonna rub off on me. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Get the first thing they say.
What?
Oh, you acting funny. I'm trying to protect my life. I have never heard you listen to music that don't talk about smashing someone's wife. I got a wife.
Like, I would be a fool not to protect what I have, son.
Every CD in your car, every iTunes song is talking about beating it down from the back. My wife has a back. She do.
She is not paralyzed.
She's not paraplegic. She got a back. So now when I'm with you, I gotta watch her back. It's just gonna be a no. It's gonna have to be a no for me.
I would be irresponsible. I would be irresponsible.
What was I doing? I heard the music. Then we at the house. What a speaker. Connect to the Bluetooth. Yeah, I blow it down from the back. She's so. Whoa! Whoa! I got a wife and child in here. My side chick got a side chick. I'm struggling to maintain the one I got. How you out here like that? I can't do it, bro. Your decisions have, once again, you decide to keep letting me hear you listen to that. I'll be a fool to think you don't enjoy that at some point. If every time I call you, I hear a cigarette light in the background, and when I hear that lighter spark up, I know you on one.
I gotta turn it off. I gotta walk away.
I'm putting my life at jeopardy because if I come in and you happen to be aggressively behind my wife, I'm gonna instantly hear that music and it's me and you. Then I'm going to jail. Then she gotta empty the bank account to get me out of jail. Now my son ain't got no food. Now we homeless. It gonna be a whole thing. Like it could easily go south.
Like you said,
It's consequences.
Like
It's everything. So we can't keep acting like our decisions don't have. Come on, bro. Even on a business level, like I'm free to do and say what I want to on Facebook. I can't get on Facebook saying bump my job. Them folk gonna fire me
while wearing them on a t-shirt.
Them folk gonna fire me, baby. That I bet you any kind of money that badge won't work the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I was free to do it.
So we heard that you don't
I was free to say it in your. I have the freedom of speech, but I don't have the power to veto the consequence.
Say that again, please.
We have the freedom of speech, but we don't have the power to veto consequences. It just nothing works like that, bro.
Somebody from YouTube, Ashley Jean Ora, she said there are people who say I'm grown and I can do whatever I want. I learned not to say that. And then Karima says art imitates life. I think that's when she was speaking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can you are grown and you can do what you want. The question is what you're doing productive? And if the answer is yes, then keep doing it then. So one would say women selling their body for money is productive, is paying the bills, taking care of the child. Cool.
Jasmine.
Cool.
You've said that before.
Cool. Right. You make $1,000 a night. That's $5,000 Monday through Friday. Your baby taken care of, your house taken care of, you're minding your business, you're out the way, you're buying purses. Cool. But guess what? Your baby gonna go to school one day, and one of your children's friends, fathers, and cousins gonna probably smash. They got videos and pictures that they're gonna share with those kids, and now your child in a fight at school because of something his mama did. And if you're okay living with that, send me the video. I just want, if you cool, send it to me. I'll post it on my Facebook page. I kid you not. If you cool, I'll promote you.
Yep.
I bet you any kind of money you ain't finna send me.
I'm
now.
not gonna let you sell yourself short, son.
I'm trying to get you to 10,000 a week. I want your baby in 3 fights a day. We trying to build a little Mayweather, God dog it. Let's do it.
Let's do it, bro.
If we gonna do it, let's do it right.
Let's do it. Gotta take it all the way, bro.
Your son finna be Mayweather. 3 to 5 fights a day gets you 10 to 5K a week, baby.
Facts.
I like them numbers.
Facts. Let's do it.
Y'all know that's foolishness. We gotta stop that, man, bro. Shoot. We out of order, man. As a society, like as a whole, like the world as a whole is out of order.
Are there any choices that you either regret making or basically just wish that you could take back, or wish that you took the time to think about the consequences before making the decision?
Yeah.
And we'll start with Jazz.
The answer is yes to that.
What choice or decision would it be?
Well, it is, a bit personal. But yes, there is a choice that I do kind of wish that I took more time on assessing the consequences before just hopping in it. Because I think because I was young, you got that mentality like, oh, I'm young, I only live once, or I'm young, it'll fall off of me later, or whatever the case may be. I had that mindset when I was younger, so I threw a lot of, I put a lot of weight and a lot of faith into that mindset, and I did come across some choices that I made that were very poor taste at the time that I wish I wouldn't have. I probably would be in a different situation. I feel like there would be a different set of events that probably would have taken place if I would have made a different decision. So I'll definitely have to say yes, that's happened to where I regretted a choice because I did not think about the consequences. I was just like, oh, it's for the moment. I'm doing it right now.
At that time, when you made those choices, did you pin the fallout on whoever else was involved in your decision making, or did you take full accountability for having made that choice at the time?
I did a little blame game.
Definitely.
I did.
I definitely pinned the tail on that note.
I wouldn't do this alone.
Look.
Yeah, I did. So I definitely involved, the person that was involved into it. You're not gonna allow me to have this weight by myself. So yeah, I did that. I blamed.
Do you? I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, looking back on it now, do you take full responsibility for having made that?
I do because like I said, that was when I was younger. I just wish that I had this mindset back then because I really do feel like there would have been a different set of events laid out for me in my life. I don't know where exactly I would be, but if it was a different choice, I don't think I would be doing what I'm doing now.
And that's interesting. Like another example of making choices and consequences is women ending up with no good men, right? A lot of women hold the perspective of there aren't any good men out there, or all men cheat, or all men will do. But no woman. Well, I'm not gonna say no women, but most of those women who hold that perspective aren't willing to take accountability for the fact that at some point throughout your relationship with this man, at least in the beginning of your relationship, you saw red flags or signs were triggered as a result of something he did or said, and yet you decided that either you were going to ignore those signs, or you decided that you were special enough to inspire change within him to become better for you and for your relationship in the long run, and decided to stick it out with that man. And because that choice didn't pan out the way you thought it would, instead of being accountable for your decision to stay, you then want to blame the man for not being what you expected him to be. Although he had already shown you who he was in the beginning, you just chose to ignore it, or decided that you weren't going to accept that. And that's one of the things that I want women to be accountable for is you decided to be with this man. You can't sit here and say all men are this or all men are that when you have been responsible or are responsible for not only your selection process, what you decide that you're attracted to, and then on top of that, deciding to deal with the same kind of men that you're complaining about. When there are other types of men out there that you refuse to try or give a chance. Mm-hmm. So I'm proud of you for looking back in retrospect now and being accountable for having made the decisions that you did that involved whoever. But because we all have to be responsible for that. At some point, we all sat down and made the decision that nobody put a gun to your head. Nobody threatened your family. Nobody did anything that forced you to, outside of rape, that forced you to be with this person or to do something that landed you in a position that was unfavorable. You have to be accountable for that. Nobody else is.
And you know what I find very paradoxical about the accepting full accountability and responsibility for an unfavorable circumstance is, and I'm pretty sure you can attest, during the time where we were trying to pin the tail on the donkey, there was a weight that followed. But whenever we took full responsibility for the weight, it lifted. And I know from my own experience, something tragic happened to me with my family back when I was 23. And because of that, in my mind, oh, bet, y'all did this to me, I'm finna do this to y'all, so I thought, right? I went down this dark path of like drugs and selling myself for money, like a whole bunch of stuff, right? And it wasn't until I realized, wait a minute, this ain't doing that to them.
Not like I thought it
Not
was.
like they don't even know I'm doing this.
It ain't hitting like
it
I
ain't
wanted
hitting like I wanted it to slap. Like they say, you thought you ate. I was still starving. I said, hold on, wait. I thought that if I did this, it would affect them. It wasn't until I realized, wait a minute, my power and strength don't come from me doing dumb stuff because I was doing dumb stuff too. It comes from me making better decisions, and now I'm free. Mm-hmm. And when I realized, hey, hold on, I don't want to be like them. Mm-hmm. I stopped that, and now I'm free. But when I thought that my control came from me getting my lick back, I carried that weight with me, and that influenced me to make bad decisions. When I realized that don't help, I started making better decisions for me, and now that's when you get your lick back. It's not when you try to get your lick back, because you never hit like that. But when you completely be like, you know what? I ain't studying what you did. All I know is what I'm finna do. And that's when you slap. And ever since then, my life been up from there. And that was the greatest revelation I ever had, that Adrian, the decisions that Adrian makes are the decisions that you need to be focused on. Not the ones that your family did that turned out unfavorable. Not the ones where you're blaming people for how you were raised. Now that you realize, hey, that's toxic. That's not productive. You're trash. What do I need to do to protect myself from that stuff? Not turn into that. And I'm free. And I've been free since then. So I want y'all to understand that you have to learn that accountability is only heavy because you're not used to lifting it. But accountability gets lighter and lighter the more times you lift it. And it's life-changing because it frees you from the bondage of people. And that is the greatest thing I could ever say. So consequences need to be a curriculum in college. Mm-hmm. I'll say it again.
High school.
Definitely. Consequences need to be a curriculum. Accountability needs to be a curriculum. Responsibility needs to be a curriculum. There need to be specific scenarios that are set in this setting, starting from the youngest age that is possible to comprehend these life skills. And I can almost guarantee the world as a whole will be totally different because you don't have people placing the blame. You have people fully being accountable for every part that they played. I asked this girl today, she said her and her boyfriend broke up. I said, what happened? She was like, it was me and him. I said, well, tell me the part that you played and don't mention him. She sat there for a minute. She was like, you could tell she was finna be like, and he, I understand you've admitted that both of us had a part to play. I don't want to hear his part because he's not here. Tell me exactly what you could have did or did. And she then went on, I could have been more understanding. I could have been more communicative. Like, she gave a list, and I was like, thank you. Take that with you in your next relationship.
You probably helped her a lot with that.
I hope so.
Because the fact that you did ask her to take him out of it, she was able to like stay focused on herself to know what not to do moving forward.
Yeah, I hope so.
Ashley said that I wish I took more time dealing with my trauma where my kids would not be involved. I think that's when you asked the question earlier as far as any regrets with choice.
Nuba said, every choice that put me in a losing situation, I regret. I need perfection. I just told somebody the other day, I'm not seeking perfection, but I am seeking progress. I'm not, because, perfection has a very slurred connotation. So when you say it, people be like, oh, you think, that's cool. I got you. I got you. I'm not seeking perfection, but what I do require is progress on a continual basis. And that's it. Teresa, I don't think you should ever regret, only reflect to do better next time. My dad taught me as a black man to never make decisions that might cost you your freedom. I agree with that. Abraham speaking. Lilo say, hey, Lilo.
Consequences, man.
Jazz said something earlier that really blessed me. She said, I just don't want, I think she was talking to me directly. She was like, I don't want you basically like writing me off for a particular decision that I made during a time when I fully believed that that was the best decision for me. That blessed me because that shows that, hey, I did something. I admit I did it. Also, I've grown and realized that that wasn't a good decision based on the way that I approached it. However, the me now wouldn't make that decision based on those circumstances, and I understand that now. That's that I'm not seeking perfection, I am seeking progress. And in that 2 or 3 sentences, she showed me everything I needed to know to move on into the next conversation. There's nothing else I need to say. I don't have to give you a long speech about, hey, you're out of order. Hey, you should. I don't have to do none of that because she took accountability. She expressed how she could be more accountable, and then she's responsible moving forward for the new perspective of accountability. I can't ask for nothing else. There's nothing else we got to discuss with that situation. We can move on. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. Because anybody in the world can say that. Hey, there's a time period where I did something. I was out of order. I don't do it no more, and you ain't got to worry about me doing it again because I realized I shouldn't have done it in the first place in that manner. Let's move on. Cool. I can eat that from anybody. I don't care what you've done.
Just to be clear, we talking about Jasmine Patterson?
Yeah, she dropped more.
You just said progress. Progress.
I'm just trying to track your progress. That's all. That's it.
Right.
Shall we pull up an Excel spreadsheet? Keep up with it. We gotta make sure the layout.
Well, this is a graph of since 2019 up until now. Shoot. Well, now's a good time for In a Perfect World. For those and / sad facts.
I like
sad facts. This is for those of you who are hearing this for the first time. This is a segment we do where we take everything that's discussed, all of the concepts that we promoted or expressed, and we predict that if these concepts were put into practice, what would a perfect world look like? So, Jasmine, for you, what would a perfect world look like?
So for me, in a perfect world, I would see this concept of men and women, just gauging and really honing in on the choice that you're looking at. And once you know what the choice is, like take a minute and really hone in on, if I choose this choice, what are the consequences going to be? Am I going to be able to handle those consequences? Am I going to be able to actually deal with those consequences? And like y'all said, if you can, run it. But if not, reassess and let's look to see if there's another option instead of choosing this particular choice. Because this choice could take you down a dark path. This choice could take you in a place you don't want to be. This choice can have you lowering or doing, stuff that you don't want to do, but you feel like you have to do. And then once you're done with it, you now have all of these consequences that run behind it. So in a perfect world, I feel like if we are able to slow down, take a minute to think about what the consequences are, we would be better as a human race and maybe move differently in our lives to where it be, like you said, more productive.
Adrian?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. In a perfect world, we would deem things such as accountability, responsibility, and consequences as more valuable than money, hair, sex, all the things that we currently deem as valuable. If we simply replace them with these skills, the world as a whole will be different.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the pageant winners give speeches about, for perfect peace, we need to feed the hungry and homeless and all that. But these four concepts: accountability, responsibility, consequence, acknowledgement, and active listening. Those four skills could end over half the suffering in the world, because a lot of the murder and domestic violence and the rape and the molestation, like all of that stuff, is hinged upon someone not being accountable and or responsible for the decisions they make. It would literally overnight solve over half the crime in the world by simply promoting four skills that we need to change the world. And it doesn't cost anything. This is free. Like, it's free.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone who has the normal mental capacity, who doesn't have some type of mental disability, can tap into this tonight. Like, this ain't nothing you have to wait to do. You could literally Google the definition of those four words, print them out, and post them, and every day read them, just to build that type of mental or spiritual, emotional fortitude to simply change the world today. That's so beyond me. And it's free.
Free 99.
Like, that's so beyond me.
For me, in a perfect world, Jasmine would admit that I'm right about everything. And that is it for tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. For those of you on Facebook, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're on YouTube, please make sure, if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and click that bell so you can catch every time that we go live. Catch the same time, same place next week. But right now, we're going to go ahead
and hold on. We got a couple of Facebook things. So I don't know. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't know my Facebook was basically filtered for private or friends only. So I turned it to public, and now stuff is coming through. Newbie let me know. I didn't know. But it's okay. Next time it's gonna be lit.
Good job.
So wait. We got a couple comments. Wait.
That's correct.
So Trenda said progress comes from actions we take, which is from the experience we went through, becoming better than what you were before. Terrell said, question, how can we change the ideal of living from check to check if we see everyone else living the same way to survive when it comes to finances?
You the finance guru.
Cool. So basically what happens is, this goes back to what we're saying. If one would be accountable and responsible for the particular finances that they get, regardless of the amount, you can almost best believe there is something that you are overspending on or that can be cut back on to improve your financial situation until you can further improve your financial situation, such as eating out, overspending, ripping and running the streets from gas, drugs, shopping. Like, it's so many hair,
eyelashes,
it's so many things.
Makeup,
now,
nails.
This is the thing that I detest at work. People realize be complaining about money, but then they leave work just to be leaving. Like, they realize, came to my desk, my check ain't right. You ain't worked for 3 hours.
I'm aggravated. I'm finna go.
What?
You just complained about not having money.
You just said your check is not right. But because you're aggravated, you finna leave. All girls said they finna go get a nail done. But you're going to be complaining next week about not having the money. You leaving missing money to go spend money for next week to complain about money. And it goes back into accountability and responsibility. So when you say, when we watch everyone else do it, that's the thing. What we're promoting has to happen on an individual level first. And when one person does it, the next person does it, and the next, and the next, and the next, and then you have a society of people does it. Black Wall Street come through. Then you have a culture of people that's doing it. Then you have the state that's doing it. Then the next state do it, and the next state do it, and eventually the country is doing it, and now the world is changed. So you're looking at it as, well, since everybody else lives check to check, it makes sense for me to live check to check. Since no one else is being accountable and responsible, let me start doing it. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know about you, I require my friends to have a certain standard. You ain't gonna be no dummy, so I need you to be at least reading a book a month. And not even a month, I'll give you 2 months, but you gotta be reading something. You gotta be either reading, watching, or having some type of conversation with somebody that's producing something. Mm-hmm. That's my standard. Now you can do what you wanna do, but I'm just telling you what I'm gonna do if you don't do this. Because I'm doing this and you get the benefits of that, right? I read at least 2 to 3 books a month. And you going to come to me and ask me a question that I got the information from this book. What happens when I need that? Reciprocation. And you ain't got it for me. How long you expect me to pour my water into your bottle before mine is empty? It's just going to be a no for me. So when you're projecting that, well, everyone else in the world lives check to check, that ain't cute to me. When I was buying my house, people were saying, oh, I got a house. The Lord blessed me with a house. The very next sentence was, I don't know how I'm going to pay for it.
Why you get a house then, sir?
Because I heard that, I made it my business. I didn't sign down dotted line until them numbers look like something I can show enough afford even if something happened to me. Most people make them numbers exceed their budget. And then you're trying to figure out why you living from check to check. Because you started out of order. And you're following the projected path of everyone else that's overspending something they can't afford. That was this meme that said, you should be willing to sacrifice 1 year to live opposite of how everyone else is living so that you can spend the rest of your life living how no one else is living. I loved it. How many of y'all willing to not eat out for a year? Not go get a haircut but once a month. Not get your nails done but once a month. Not do the things that you do on a consistent basis and stack up $10,000 so that you don't have to use them credit cards and pay interest. How many of y'all willing to drive the old busted car for the next 12 years to save up money so you can pay cash for one so you don't have a car note for the next 10 years and you can use that car note money to make investments that'll build it for the next 5 years so you can pay cash for everything else for the rest of your life? How many of us willing to do that? Y'all ain't willing to make no sacrifices like that. And that's why y'all live from check to check. It's going to be a no for me. It's definitely going to be a no for me. So that's why we see everybody living from check to check. Because we perpetuated the idea that that's cute. Listen, we recently had a event in our job where the people pay stub wasn't posted on Wednesday. People reached out to me. How I'm going to pay these overdraft fees? Baby, listen. If a pay stub not posted on Wednesday is causing you that much turmoil, we need to reevaluate these funds. Mm-hmm. What's going on? I saw you go. You ate out every day this week. You walk past my desk every day with Popeyes, Wendy's, McDonald's, Sonic's, Chick-fil-A, Hoshinata. What the name of the rest of the who? Oishi. You had shrimp rice rolls for lunch. And now you got an overdraft because a pay stub ain't posted. And you want me to do what? Sit up and appeal? You want me to reach out to payroll and tell them that you got an overdraft? Should I also tell them you ate out every day this week? But let me guess. My money, my choice. Well, you figure it out then. Here comes the consequences. But I'm the bad guy when I say that, though.
Because you bringing it to me. You trying to lay it out in front of my
How dare you tell me how foolish I've been this week and now I got an overdraft?
I gotta eat.
Baby, you are a overdraft. When you wake up in the morning, you are already an overdraft to your own life. Stop playing with me.
Adrian.
My bad, I got a little.
Any more comments?
Said some people don't make enough save money, they make enough to pay bills. I mean, that's my thing. The only way I'm willing to accept that is if that individual tells me that they've done everything possible and cut off all of the overage, and then that's the case. I'll never forget, they denied us a Medicaid when we had Noah, and in my mind, I'm like, what you mean we make enough money? Who? Where's it? I went home, I sat down in front of this heater at the other little house we had, and I just started crying, because I'm like, I can't take care of that, baby. What they mean we make enough? Where is it? But guess what? It was there. We did. I never knew it until somebody told me it's going to be a no. Then I say y'all ain't getting no food stamps, no assistance. Sir, you make this amount. In my mind, ma'am, I don't got money to even come up here. I actually need to borrow 20 to get back home. But I made it home that day, and I sat in the middle of that floor till 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just so grateful for the Lord. And I realized I got a piece of paper and a pen, and I wrote that out. I said, what is money? Hey, Swanee. What is money? I don't know. I don't know neither. But I bet we figured it out. I ain't had that problem no more. My son 5. And I thank the Lord for that. You got to take some accountability and responsibility for your actions, bro.
Especially when it comes to your finances. I'm definitely on that journey.
Y'all know y'all out here sideways with this money.
For 2023, I'm trying to do that.
I think I'm done.
You sure?
I think, man, I don't understand. Like, I be so mad. I used to be you. Dang, you can make it out. Okay, I'm done.
All right. Well, on that note, we'll holler at you guys next week. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Catch us same time, same place, every Thursday at 7 o'clock. That being said, peace.